The moment I got that screenshot, I felt my jaw tighten. There was my name on the screen of a Monday morning staff call, right under a smirk from Connie, our brand new operations manager. Her voice was clipped and smug. "Must be nice to just disappear," she said, like I'd bailed on a shift to go get my nails done. Then she added, almost casually, "I'll be leading the crisis protocol program moving forward." My name, my program, and I wasn't even back yet. My name's Nora. I'm 43 and I live in Elbridge, Missouri. I'm the senior dispatcher for the county's emergency response office. Phones, radios, protocols, drills, tech, the whole damn system. I hadn't taken more than a long weekend in over 2 years. This trip, it was sacred. 2 weeks off-grid in the Mark Twain National Forest. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, no pager. Just me, my busted old Jeep, and a hammock strung between two trees. Before I left, I didn't just leave a checklist, I left a damn playbook. Documented every escalation path, uploaded updated workflows, printed the backup manual, and taped it to the wall. I even put the emergency override USB in a Ziploc marked "Do Not Remove." Quick note, before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. But none of that mattered, apparently, because less than 6 days in, I got that screenshot from Jasmine. She's another dispatcher, been around for about 9 years, solid woman. She texted it with, "Did you know Connie's taking your position?" I didn't answer. Not yet. I was sitting under a mess of pine trees with a paperback in one hand and half a breakfast burrito in the other. The sun was just coming up over the hills. I'd finally gotten used to the silence, the good kind, not the tense pre-storm kind we get in dispatch when every line's too quiet. And then bam, Connie's face on that screen, smirking like she just got handed keys to the castle, acting like I'd ghosted on my job. What she didn't know? That entire system she thought she was taking over was built from the ground up by me. I wrote the code, I trained the team, I patched the holes when the old system almost triggered a countywide hazmat alert 3 winters ago. But sure, go ahead, sweetheart, take it over. I didn't text Jasmine back. I just saved the screenshot, turned my tablet off, and went back to my hammock. Whatever they broke, I'd deal with it later. Or maybe I'd just watch. Because if Connie thought she could play queen with my system, she had no idea what she just sat on. A live wire. Connie had no idea what the hell she was doing. From day one, I knew it. She rolled in from some private security firm in St. Louis, name-dropping former clients and calling herself a systems thinker, like that meant anything in a dispatch office where half the chairs squeak and the fire station printer jams every third page. First week on the job, she showed up to a field drill, wearing nude pumps and a scarf. A scarf. It was 92 degrees. Didn't know anybody's name. Called Tanya 5 times. Looked at our log software and asked, "Is this the red phone thing?" Like we were running Batman's hotline instead of coordinating EMS, fire, and police across 3 counties. Before I left for my trip, I told Jerry, our department chief, been there since '98, not to let anyone touch the radio escalation tree unless they'd read the printed manual and checked the backup USB. Those 2 pieces go hand in hand. You screw up one, you set off half the county. I knew Connie wouldn't listen, but I hoped Jerry would hold the line. He didn't. She put her golden boy Brady in charge. 23, fresh out of some tech and homeland security hybrid degree, wearing county polos 2 sizes too big and nodding like a bobblehead anytime she opened her mouth. Their plan was a new response flow. Some PowerPoint fever dream Connie cooked up with circles and arrows like a 6th grade science fair project. 0 input from dispatch, no drill, no table test. She just declared it ready to run. The only reason I even found out, one of the test logs still routed to my backup Gmail. They didn't scrub me from the forward list, idiots. I was sitting on a log near the creek, tablet fired up just to check the weather radar, and bam, there it was. A test dispatch labeled OPSFlow_V1_pre-live, sent through the statewide alert channel. I froze, scrolled, read it again. Brady had triggered the legacy fire drill cascade we built for severe weather response. Not a regular test path, not a sandbox environment. The real thing, the one I helped design after the 2015 tornado touched down south of Bell Ridge. That path was hardwired to hit every county mobile unit, dispatch desk, station alert system, and even backup pagers in remote towers. I dug into the log files. No override code entered, no dummy flag, no sandbox variable. He ran it live. I sat there, heart pounding like a generator, watching the timestamps. They must have thought it was just a routine check. Brady probably clicked send like it was an email blast for lunch orders. The scary part? Nobody noticed what they'd actually done. Not Connie, not Jerry, not Brady. They triggered a full-blown tornado alert without even realizing what button they pushed. I slammed the tablet shut and just stared at the dirt for a second. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from fury. I told them. I left the instructions, I left the system, and they handed it over to a rookie in khakis who probably couldn't spell escalation protocol if you spotted him the first 10 letters. I stood up, paced a little. I wasn't going to text Jerry, wasn't going to warn Brady. They hadn't asked, they hadn't checked. So if they wanted to play real-life dispatch, fine. Let's see how far they get before the whole thing goes sideways. I didn't say a damn thing. Still had 6 days of PTO left. Still off-grid technically. They hadn't called. No messages, no flagged alerts, nothing. So I let it ride. Every morning, I checked the logs from my camp tablet, same time I checked the weather and made my coffee over the fire pit. Quiet little ritual. Then Wednesday morning, I saw it in the schedule block. Live Ops Flow V1 test. Friday, 0800. State Route B plus countywide signal relay. That stopped me cold. They were going to run it live. With that path. See that test signal path? Wasn't a test at all. It was hardwired, intentionally, to bypass normal filters. I built it years ago as a failsafe for real-time threat escalation. Wildfires, chemical spills, active shooters. Anything where you didn't have time to call 3 different people and ask for permission. If you didn't input the override code before dispatch, the system assumed the worst-case scenario. It was designed to scream loud and fast. I made sure only 4 people ever had access to it. I documented the procedure, highlighted it in red in the binder, printed a separate emergency insert, and taped it to the wall above the desk. That override was the only way to prevent a full-scale multi-agency alert. But here they were, Connie and Brady, charging full speed into a hornet's nest with a coffee mug and a smirk. Connie didn't ask, Brady didn't read. And Jerry? Jerry probably nodded through the whole planning meeting while checking baseball scores. So I leaned back in my camp chair, cracked open a beer, and waited. The sun was hot that afternoon. I rigged up a little tarp over my hammock for shade and pulled the cooler closer with my foot. Nothing fancy, just me, some bugs, and the knowledge that I'd warned them. They wanted to run the system like it was a damn vending machine. Push a button, get a soda, but I knew what was coming. I'd buried the failsafes deep. Layered scripts, conditionals, code branches that lit up if you skipped even one step. It wasn't sabotage, it was insurance. You don't build a fire alarm that asks twice before screaming. You build it to go off when the smoke hits the wire. And Friday morning, the wire was gonna burn. Thursday night, I cooked brats over the fire, feet up, stars out, tablet closed. I slept like a rock. Not because I was calm, because I was certain. This wasn't spite. This was clarity. Let them see what they unleashed. Let Connie stand there in her heels and tell everyone she's a systems thinker while the system eats itself alive. Let Brady learn the hard way that an engineering degree doesn't mean jack if you can't follow basic instructions. Let Jerry realize, too late, that when I said, don't touch this unless you fully understand it, I meant it. And if someone did end up calling me, well, I'd answer, I'd help, but not until they looked that mess in the face first. Because if they thought I was just some burnt-out dispatcher on a hammock vacation, they were about to learn who actually built the bones of that place. Not Connie, not Brady, not Jerry, me. At exactly 8:03 a.m., it blew. My tablet lit up like a Christmas tree. Alerts, log pings, system flags flashing red across the top bar. Back at the dispatch center, the place must have felt like a casino after a jackpot hit. Radios squawking in every squad car, sirens tripping out of nowhere, fire station tones screaming over intercoms, and school alert systems all pinged at once. Buses pulled over mid-route. Teachers locked down classrooms. What did they think was happening? A full-blown statewide biohazard threat. And it wasn't just locals responding. The first responders in Jefferson County, 60 miles south, spun up their hazmat teams. 2 volunteer firehouses emptied. Paramedics were suiting up like it was an outbreak. My foot was in the cooler. Half a warm beer in one hand, tablet in the other. I watched it all come in. One of the logs had 4 agencies marked as en route. 2 more standing by. Then came the phone calls. The county line jammed up in under 3 minutes. Volunteers left carts in grocery store checkout lines. A guy in uniform bolted from a dentist chair, still wearing a bib. Connie? She was on Zoom with the mayor, smiling like it was career day. "It's just a test," she told him, like she was reading off a sticky note. "This is controlled." The mayor leaned into the camera. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely," she said. "It's a simulation for system response." But the phones behind her were melting. You could hear dispatchers yelling over each other, call queues stacking up. Someone dropped a headset. Another voice snapped, "That wasn't in the drill schedule." Then FEMA called. The regional office, not the local guys, real people, real confusion. "Who authorized the Tier 3 alert cascade?" That was their exact phrasing, and nobody had an answer. Because as far as they knew, this was a real-world incident. The system was designed to sound the alarm only when no one had time to talk. And Connie had just handed it over to a fresh-out-of-school Brady with a checklist and a click. I scrolled down the server logs, saw the push packet, no override code, no flag for simulation. They triggered the failsafe. And the failsafe did exactly what it was built to do: detonate. The logs kept stacking, vehicles in motion, radios syncing, cross-county channel boosts activating. I leaned back, let the beer hang loose in my fingers. Brady was probably at his desk in that awful blue polo, watching everything spiral while clicking every menu he could find, hoping one of them would say undo. He had no idea what he was even looking at. And Connie? God. She probably thought FEMA was just calling to congratulate her on a successful drill. Somewhere in that mess, I spotted a name flash through the alert board: Harold Wyke, Board of Emergency Oversight. Now it was serious. That name only popped up when the suits got involved. The kind of guy who doesn't even use a county email address, just initials and a private server. Back at dispatch, someone yelled, "Why aren't the override commands working?" "Because you didn't use them, genius. I had built that system with intention. Every layer, every branch, every dead man switch. It wasn't fancy code, but it was deliberate. Fail to follow the order, and the machine assumes you're dead or compromised. That's how you keep the signal honest." I cracked my back, took another sip. This wasn't pride. This was proof. Proof that slapping a title on your name doesn't mean jack if you skip training. Proof that experience matters. Proof that when someone like me says, "Don't touch this," you don't. I watched the stream of error messages climb into the hundreds. FEMA flagged the test. State police issued a hold. Radio towers kept relaying because they hadn't hit the loop limit yet. And still, not a single call to me. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just watched. Because this wasn't my mess to clean up anymore. This was theirs. It kept going. The system didn't slow down, didn't pause. Because they hadn't used the override code. And when you don't use the override, the system assumes no human is present, just threat, chaos, and dead air. So it escalated. It skipped the main dispatch loop and went straight to the old countywide relays, the ones we phased out back in 2019. Static-heavy, low-priority stuff we kept on backup just in case we ever lost the fiber connection. Guess what? Still alive. Those towers roared back online like ghosts coming up from the floorboards. I watched the logs stack on my tablet. Pinged, relay, a 6 El Colo, legacy beacon, active. El Colo. 17 years old, that tower. I thought about cutting the power last winter during a cleanup budget run, but left it for emergencies. Now it was bouncing the signal all the way to emergency stations in the next state. Not joking. Arkansas was getting the alert traffic. Brady tried to shut it down. I saw his command line attempts in real time. He hit the main console and tried to mute the root signal manually. That was his move. Mute, wrong call. That triggered the override cascade, a whole separate script designed to assume a hostile shutdown. It lit up the outbound Tier 2 beacon and pushed it through the fallback priority line. That thing was built to be unkillable once it reached that state. Meanwhile, Connie kept waving her arms on Zoom like she was selling timeshares. "It's just a software hiccup," she kept saying. "We're working on a patch." A patch. You don't patch a live broadcast. You contain it. Back in dispatch, it was a horror show. I watched the internal cams they forgot were still routed through my offsite monitor. One dispatcher had tears running down her face. Another ripped off her headset and just sat there with her hands in her lap. Jerry wasn't even in the room. Volunteers started texting the group thread, angry stuff. "What the hell is going on?" I left work for this. You people are embarrassing. Then came the best one. A guy in Fire Station 2 tossed his walkie straight into the retention pond behind the building. I saw it on the weather cam, mounted near the rear door. He yelled something, threw the radio like it burned his hand, and walked away shaking his head. Brady, meanwhile, had moved from muting to guessing. Random key entries, console switches, trying anything. Each move made it worse. I saw a screen flash, loop extension, code 143 default. That meant the signal loop had added 15 more minutes to the alert cycle. Every vehicle, every station, every registered backup unit would keep getting the ping. It was like a ghost in the system. Except I wasn't dead. I was just sitting under a tarp in the woods, watching the disaster I told them not to trigger. And Connie, God bless her, was still calling it a glitch. One of the volunteers texted Jasmine, "Is Nora even alive?" She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The system was alive, and it was dragging them behind it like a car with no brakes. Robin was the one who found it. Quiet girl, tech hire from 2 weeks ago. Barely spoke above a whisper in meetings. But she was sharp. I clocked it the day she asked me where the third backup log printer was without even being prompted. While Connie was still running around calling it a glitch, Robin had her head down, combing through the archive documentation. Not the Google Drive, not the shared ops folder, the deep server, the one labeled Archive Legacy 2012. And buried in there, dusty and unloved, was a PDF titled Legacy Fail Protocol, Nora Only. She opened it, read every word. It was all there. Step-by-step breakdown of the Tier 3 escalation flow, override injection method, trigger conditions, and lockout behavior. Even had screenshots of the original code snippet. My initials were at the bottom. NM logged, timestamped, reviewed, signed. She pinged Connie on Slack. Quiet message, just the file, and, "Is this related?" Connie ignored it at first. Probably didn't understand what she was looking at. When Robin followed up, she finally replied, "Old protocol, not relevant." Then she tagged Jerry. I guess reality started setting in, because Jerry didn't respond for a full 5 minutes. When he finally typed something, it was just, "Where did you find this?" Robin, "Legacy folder, last update 2019. It's labeled Do Not Deploy without override." Jerry replied with a single word, "Shit." That's when I knew he finally realized what they'd done. Connie leaned over his shoulder, according to the hallway camera feed, and said something. I couldn't hear it. But whatever it was, Jerry looked like he aged 5 years in real time. Because the log records showed her signature. She'd approved Brady's run without reading the script dependencies. She clicked the green check on the final_push.yaml file without even opening the preview. Blind. The entire mess was on record now. And still, nobody called me. Not Connie, not Jerry, not even Jasmine. They were scrambling to fix it without me, rebooting the old system from inside dispatch. And like I'd built it to do, it looped again. You can't just shut it off. The design assumes if you try to kill it without using the proper key, you're either dead or under threat. So it just resets and re-engages. Robin saw that too. She posted a screenshot in the ops channel. Warning, lockout active. No kill switch present. Override key required. She added one line underneath. Who has the key? Silence. Connie turned pale, literally pale. I caught it on the overhead cam, sweat on her neck, hair sticking to her temples, blazer off. She turned toward the server rack like the answer might be hiding in the wires. She said, "There has to be a back door." Robin, cool as ice, typed back, "Not unless Nora left one." The whole chat froze. Jerry rubbed his eyes like he was trying to disappear into his own skull. Finally typed, "She told us." We didn't listen. Robin dropped the final nail. The protocol says only Nora can initiate the shutdown sequence. It's not a kill switch. It's a key. Physical. Logged as stored in cabinet, do not remove. Brady, bless his clueless heart, asked, "So where's the backup key?" Robin, "There isn't one." I watched the Slack channel light up with read receipts. Everyone was online now. Dispatch, tech, fire station administrators, even Harold from the county board. Still no one called. They were staring at a locked system set to trigger every 15 minutes until someone with the key stepped in. And they finally understood they'd locked themselves out of the very machine they tried to steal from me. 10 hours. That's how long they let it burn before finally messaging me. Not a call, not a formal request. Just a quick message on an old backup channel I hadn't used in a year. From Jerry, "Hey Nora, urgent. Can you take a look?" That was it. No apology, no explanation. Just 7 words from the man who let all this happen. I stared at the message while sipping instant coffee out of a cracked enamel mug. Let it sit there, unread. 10 minutes. That's how long I made him sweat. Then I typed back, "Step 1, use the override USB I left in the cabinet labeled Do Not Remove. Step 2, follow the rollback protocol in the hard copy folder labeled Emergency Loop Only. It's in the 3rd drawer of the red file cabinet, top right corner. Paper clipped. And just to drive it home, I attached a photo, me in my hammock, foot up, paperback in hand. The title facing the camera, Let It Burn." I hit send. The moment that image dropped into the dispatch Slack, the whole channel lit up. Jasmine posted a laughing emoji. Brady posted a thumbs up. Robin just wrote, "Nora says it's fixable?" Then came Connie. Why wasn't this documented? Like she hadn't walked past the binder every day for the last 2 weeks. Jerry didn't hold back. It was, "You skipped training." Twice no one typed for a full minute. I watched the logs shift, real-time rollback in motion. Brady inserted the USB, following my exact file path. Robin confirmed the rollback protocol was initialized. It took under 2 minutes to halt the loop. 2 minutes. That's all it ever would have taken if they'd respected the system. Jerry pinged me again. "Thank you. You still with us?" I didn't answer right away. Instead, I took another picture. This one of the sky turning orange over the trees, coffee cup balanced on my knee, bare feet hanging off the side of the hammock. Then I typed, "Next time, call before lighting the county on fire." Robin sent a smiley face. Brady posted noted. Connie didn't respond, but Jerry did. Understood. "We owe you one? Owe me?" "Nobody. You needed me. And you ignored me until the system made damn sure you couldn't anymore. And let me be real clear. I didn't help to save them. I helped because that system still had my name on it. My code, my design, my responsibility. You don't let amateurs wreck something you bled for. You step in, you fix it, and then you make sure they never get the keys again." Monday morning hit like court day. Town council Zoom. 8 squares on the screen, emergency services, public relations, 2 members from operations, 1 from the mayor's office, Connie dead center, Jerry off to the side, and 1 empty-looking box labeled H. WIC, County Board. I didn't log in right away. Connie opened the meeting like she was recapping a team-building retreat. "Minimal damage. Could have been worse," she said. "A good learning opportunity for all of us." Then the chat blew up. Someone dropped a meme of the County Alert app flooded with red triangles. Captioned, "Just a test," she said. 6,000 pings later, public relations muted themselves. Probably laughing. Then Harold spoke. His screen was black, just initials. Calm, deadpan voice like he'd been dealing with garbage fires since Nixon. "Who signed off on the deployment?" Silence. Then a file hit the shared screen. Robin, Connie.b, final_push.yaml. Time-stamped. Authenticated? Robin didn't say a word. Just posted the log, then sat back. Connie blinked fast. Her mouth twitched like she couldn't decide which lie to lead with. She went with, "The system was flawed from the start. There was no way to know it would escalate like that." Jerry didn't even flinch. "No," he said. "You were untrained. That protocol was documented multiple times. You skipped both onboarding sessions." Connie shook her head. "I was under the impression—" "You weren't under anything except your own ego," Jerry cut in. "You didn't read the damn manual." Harold didn't move, just let it hang. Then I turned my camera on. Up came my face, lit from my hammock spot. Background, river, trees, sun through the branches. I was holding coffee and didn't even pretend to look formal. Harold tilted his head slightly. "And you are?" Jerry's voice came low but steady. "That's the person who built the damn system." No one spoke. I leaned forward. "My name is Nora McCabe. I designed the emergency broadcast escalation tree. I implemented every safeguard. And I left clear written instructions on how to shut it down, how to test it safely, and what happens when you don't." Connie tried to interrupt. "It was overly complicated for no reason." "No," I said louder. "It was complicated because reality is complicated. Fires don't ask for permission. Tornadoes don't wait for you to figure out what button to press. She looked like she wanted to throw the laptop, Jerry added. We told her not to touch the system until she was trained. She handed it off to an intern. Brady popped in, camera off, and typed one line in the chat. That's on me. I didn't know I actually respected that. First honest thing anyone besides Robin had said since the chaos started. Harold finally spoke again. Final question. Can you confirm the signal would have continued to loop indefinitely without direct override? Yes, I said. That was the design? If no qualified human responds, the system assumes all personnel are compromised and maintains the alert cascade. He nodded. And who built that logic? I did, Connie muttered. This is insane, under her breath. Harold cut in sharp. You signed off on the launch. She tried to defend herself again, but at that point it didn't matter. Her face said it all. Sweaty, tight-jawed, lost. Harold clicked something. Probably a note for the internal board. Final recommendation pending. Meeting adjourned. The screen started blinking out one by one. Cameras off. Jerry stayed. Just him and me. He gave me a slow nod. You want back in? He asked. VP of Communications Infrastructure. Full authority. Big raise. Your call. I smiled, sipped my coffee, and said nothing. Just let the sound of the river fill the silence. Connie's feed froze mid-eye roll. Then, gone. Just a blank square with her initials. No goodbye, no sign-off, nothing. Within the hour, she was removed from the internal comm system. Profile deleted, admin access revoked. Her name got pulled from every shared document. No memo, no announcement, just gone. Brady got reassigned. No one said it officially, but Jasmine messaged me a screenshot. A county calendar invite for temporary assignment, road sign maintenance. Brady's name, 6 a.m. report time, 2-week rotation. No comments allowed on the event. Robin got the call. Jerry offered her a lead role on the rebuild task force. She accepted it like a pro. No fuss, no humble act. Just said, okay, I like final review authority on system-level logic, Jerry replied. Granted. Then he called me. Cell rang twice before I picked up. I was at the lake, back in my Jeep, windows down, sun pouring through the windshield. Nora, he said, voice low and hopeful. I don't blame you for watching it burn. Honestly, I would have done the same. I didn't answer. Just let him sit in it. He kept going. We want you back. Vice President of Communications Infrastructure. Full autonomy. We're talking 6 figures. Your team, your tools. You set the rules, I let that land. Then I said, no thanks. A full 2 seconds of silence. I continued. I'll consult. Triple pay. I pick the team. Robin leads ops. And Connie doesn't come within 50 feet of a county radio ever again. He didn't argue. Just exhaled and said, deal. Later that night, I sat on the tailgate with a pen and a bar napkin, sketching out version 2.0. Less bureaucracy, cleaner alerts. A failsafe that only activates if 3 separate people verify the trigger. Next to the napkin, cold beer, half a sandwich, and my updated laptop. I wasn't angry anymore. I was focused. They'd tried to gut my system and got smacked by the very thing they underestimated. Now, I was building something smarter, stronger, human-proof, not out of spite, out of principle, because if you build something that people depend on, you damn well better respect it. And they finally did. The final review meeting felt less like a debrief and more like an apology tour. Every camera was on. Everyone's mic stayed muted unless they were directly asked a question. No memes in the chat this time, no shortcuts. They were all sitting up straight, nodding at my documentation like it was sacred scripture. Pages I'd written years ago, suddenly treated like gospel because now they understood the cost of ignoring it. Harold, square and silent as always, waited until Robin finished the new system walkthrough. Then he leaned into his mic. What would it cost, he said, to rebuild the entire thing from scratch? I smiled, calm, measured. No sarcasm this time. Less than it'll cost to clean up next time. No one argued. Robin and I walked them through version 2.0. Streamlined protocols. Redundant failsafes with real-time logs, color-coded branches, warnings in bold red and capital letters. She took the lead on the slides. I covered the back-end logic. It wasn't just a rebuild. It was armor. No more guesswork. No more gut calls from people who skipped training. By the time we hit the last page, the room was dead quiet. Even Jerry looked like he wanted to clap but didn't know if it was appropriate. The meeting ended with Harold nodding once. No summary, no fluff. Just logged out. A few minutes later, my Slack pinged. CFO, direct message. Would you consider coming on full-time again? I stared at it, didn't respond, just shut the laptop. Then I leaned back in my chair, looked out at the lake, sun hitting the water just right, wind brushing across my shoulders, took a deep breath and let the quiet settle. I didn't burn down their building. I just reminded them who wired the power.